You kept cool. Now let's just wait for the punch so we can swing back twice as hard. I leaned back against the wall, phone in hand, adrenaline still ricocheting through me. This was it. The game wasn't just on. It was about to break wide open. Tom leaned in, voice low but steady, the kind you knew meant business. Langston's house of cards? It's already wobbling, he said, unwrapping his sandwich like they weren't plotting the legal takedown of the year. He's got enemies. Old ones. Some he forgot about. Some who didn't forget him. I blinked. Like who? Ex-clients. Former partners. Even a paralegal who left with a flash drive and an axe to grind. There's whispers, Jamie, nothing official yet, but he's pissed off more people than just you. And Nathan? He's lining up names. People who'll talk, especially once they find out Langston's finally under fire. I sat back, still wired but feeling the edges of the panic dulling bit by bit. Tom flipped open a leather folder and pulled out a printed screenshot. Check this out. This guy Evelyn brought in to tamper with your machine, he's popped up before. Different name, but same face. Linked to shady consulting gigs in 2 other states, both involving conveniently timed digital setups that landed innocent people in hot water. He slid the page across to me. Let's just say he's not a first-timer. And now we've got him dead to rights on camera, in your house, planning whatever it is they're trying to pin on you. My jaw tightened. So what's the play? Tom didn't flinch. You lay low. Work. Live your life. Let us build the case. Every time they move, we'll counter. Every lie they feed the system, we'll toss back with receipts. He took a sip of his coffee, then locked eyes with me. Victor Langston made a mistake coming after someone who had his own cameras, his own team, and nothing to hide. That ego of his is going to get him cuffed. I stared at the folder, at the printouts and names, the building weight of the coming storm. And for the first time in days, I believed it. I wasn't just going to walk out of this clean. I was going to watch Victor fall. I stayed still, watching her unravel in front of me like some tragic stage play I hadn't asked to be cast in. There was guilt in her voice, sure, but I wasn't sure if it came from remorse or from fear of the consequences. Now knocking at her door. Evelyn looked up at me through watery eyes. I don't expect you to forgive me. I wouldn't, but I needed to say it. Needed you to know. I was stupid and weak, and I let someone else steer my life off a cliff. I finally spoke, voice low and even. You didn't just hurt me, Evelyn. You let that man use my home, my work, my trust, like it was nothing. You helped him try to ruin me. I know, she said, barely audible. I know, and I'm going to tell the truth now. All of it. To the DA, to your lawyer, anyone who needs it. I need to clean up the mess I helped make. I nodded once, just barely. Then start with the truth. That's the only shot you got left. She nodded, wiping her face with shaking hands. The weight of her choices looked like it had aged her 5 years. When the hour was up, I stepped out of that room lighter, not because I trusted her, or because anything she said fixed what she broke, but because I'd faced it, stared down the person who betrayed me, and walked out on my own terms. Rachel gave me a glance as I passed, silently asking how it went. I didn't say much, just, she's done. Later that evening, Nathan called while I was back in my shop. Well, he asked. She cracked, said she's telling everything. Nathan let out a low whistle. Damn, looks like we just hit the end game. And he was right. The chessboard was clearing piece by piece. Victor Langston, for all his arrogance and leverage, had played too messy, too bold, and underestimated how much fight I had left. He was going down. And this time, I'd be the one watching him squirm. Damn, that was cold, but clean. Final. The kind of ending that doesn't need fireworks because the silence afterward says it all. You walked into that prison a man who'd been torn down and rebuilt stronger. And you left Victor exactly where he belonged, powerless, exposed, caged. No more smug courtroom jabs. No more backroom scheming. Just a guy in an orange jumpsuit stewing in the ruins of his empire. And you're back in the driver's seat. Your business is booming. Your circle's tight and loyal. And Lily? She's not just a spark. She's a kindling for something solid, something real. After all the wreckage, You're building again, but this time it's on your terms. That last scene, walking away from Victor without looking back. Chef's kiss. Symbolic and satisfying. Want to keep going? We could pivot into the next chapter. Rebuilding your personal life. Maybe some redemption arcs, a deeper connection with Lily, or even a new threat down the line trying to rattle your now rock-solid world. Or if this feels like the end of this ride, we can wrap it with a powerful epilogue. What's your gut say? That's our move. Turn the tables and hit him with criminal charges. I was about to chime in when a knock hit the door. I cracked it open, and there was this short brunette on my porch, clutching a little bag. "Mr. Harrison?" she asked, all polite. "Hey, Sophie. Come on in," Nathan hollered, hopping up to greet her. "Jamie, meet Sophie Marwood. She's a tech from a PI outfit I roll with." I started breaking down Victor's threats, especially the bit about planting sketchy stuff on my computer. Sophie's face tightened up. "All right, here's the scoop." She jumped in. "Victor's got 2 likely plays to set you up. First, and this is the big one, he might sneak in and mess with your computer himself, tweaking file dates so it looks like the stuff's been there forever. If he tries that, your security setup's going to nab him. Keep those cameras rolling every time you step out." She dug into her bag and pulled out a slick little gray gadget. Second option's remote. He could try uploading junk from afar. This little gizmo sniffs out and logs every move he makes. Right now, we got to yank all your personal and work files onto an external drive and scrub your computer clean as a whistle. Sophie's cool-headed vibe really put me at ease. She clearly had this tech stuff down cold. Nathan edged closer. All business. "All right, Jamie, let's get cracking. That recording is the only hard proof we've got in our pocket right now. But if you try swinging at Victor with just that, it might flop. His buddies in high places could make it vanish like smoke. Blackmail claims don't hold much water in court when his pals on the bench are calling the shots. Thing is," Nathan continued, "if he actually follows through and dumps some shady files on your computer, we've got him by the throat. His loyal cronies won't touch him with a 10-foot pole once the dirty details spill out." For the first time, that crazy, tiny spark of hope flickered in my chest. If Victor was as sloppy and full of himself as he seemed, we might just flip this whole mess back on him. I shook my head, still reeling. Man, this is twisted. Having to gear up for something this nuts is straight up bananas. Nathan's face turned grim, shadows creeping into his expression. "Yeah, Victor's got that special brand of crazy going on. Oh, one more thing," he added. "Can you steer clear of your computer for a few days? If he pulls the trigger on this frame job, the cops will poke around for recent use. Keep it dormant, and it'll be crystal clear any new junk didn't come from you. And hey, don't hook your phone to the Wi-Fi either. He might try sneaking in that way." Sophie jumped right in, rigging up that surveillance gadget like it was second nature. "This little doohickey is going to log every single try someone makes to mess with your network," she said, all matter of fact. "I'll shoot you updates the second I've got anything juicy. Best of luck, fellas." She scooped up her gear and was out the door in a flash. With the tech stuff squared away, Nathan swiveled back to me. "Okay, let's hash out the real-world side of this mess. You want to kick off the divorce papers now, or hold off and see if Evelyn snaps out of it when she rolls back in? No second guessing here. I knew what I wanted. Nope, I'm pulling the plug now. There's nothing left to patch up. I'm not sticking around with someone who's so quick to dance to a puffed-up jerk's tune. I'm over it." Nathan gave me a solid nod. "No nonsense. Got it. Loud and clear. Tomorrow morning, first thing, I'll ring up Rachel Vaughn. She's our Ace family lawyer. She'll whip this into shape fast and fair." "Sweet," I said, feeling a load lift off knowing I wouldn't be tackling this solo. Nathan promised Rachel would hit me up soon, and we chewed over a few more nitty-gritty bits. I handed him the keys to my surveillance setup, so he could keep tabs and stash any new clips. By the time Nathan and Clara headed out, it was pushing past 11 p.m. I was beat. Exhaustion finally crashed over me like a wave. My head was still buzzing like a beehive, but I popped a sleeping pill and, for the first time that day, actually caught some shut-eye, bright, and early at 8:30 a.m., Rachel's call jolted me awake. She'd already gotten the lowdown from Nathan and was up to speed. "I can slot you in at my office. 11 a.m. work for you?" she asked. I rolled up to her place, and Rachel met me with a no-fuss handshake. "Jamie, I hate that you're stuck in this crap," she said straight up. "I've crossed paths with Victor Langston's rep before. Guy's a piece of work." She didn't mess around, diving right in. "Here's the good news. You snagged this house before tying the knot with Evelyn, and her name's nowhere on the deed. It's all yours. No way she can touch it." That eased some of the pressure, weighing me down. But one big worry still gnawed at me. What about my carpentry gig? Could she strong-arm me into selling it and nap half the cash? Rachel didn't blink. She dialed Nathan on the spot, and he showed up in minutes flat. "Chill out, Jamie," he said, flashing a grin that calmed my nerves. "That marriage contract's tighter than a drum. Your business is locked down as yours. No question." I let out a slow, shaky breath, relief flooding through me like cool water. Rachel broke down the money side of the split, laying out plain. "We're going to slap Evelyn with the divorce papers at her office on Monday," she said, locking it in. I walked out of there by 12:30 p.m., feeling like I'd finally grabbed the steering wheel of this runaway train. After snagging a new phone to replace the one Victor smashed, I spent the weekend messing around in my backyard, desperate to focus on anything but the train wreck of my marriage. Hammering and sewing had always been my way to unplug, and man, I needed that escape more than ever. Evelyn could have her little fling with Victor. I was already piecing together something way better. Sunday evening crept up, and I mulled over whether to crash in the guest room or make Evelyn take it. It didn't take long to figure out it was my house, and since Nathan didn't sugarcoat it, "Yeah, Jamie," he said, "voice all business. There's a chance. If they did a sloppy enough job framing you, it might just be to rattle your cage. But if they went all in and dumped something heavy on your system, and the cops don't dig deep before acting, yeah, they might slap on the cuffs first, ask questions later." That hit like a sucker punch. I sucked in a breath. "And we're just waiting around for that?" Nathan cut in, calm but sharp. "No. We're setting the trap. You've got two things most folks in your spot don't: a fully time-stamped surveillance system and tech logs from Sophie's setup. That's gold. Cops show up, you don't argue. Don't touch the computer. Don't say anything without me or Rachel there. You let them do their thing. Then we show them the footage. Show them the logs. We let Victor and his tech buddy hang themselves with their own rope. That gave me just enough calm to keep my legs from buckling. What if they erase what they planted?" I asked, heart still trying to crawl out of my chest. Nathan clicked his tongue. "Doesn't matter. The moment they access your system, it got logged. That flash drive interaction, the camera caught it. And Sophie's little gadget, it sniffed out the IP activity. They left a trail, even if they tried wiping it." A cold knot of anxiety loosened just a bit. "You did everything right, Jamie," Nathan added. "You didn't react. You recorded." It would have handed him and Evelyn the thrill of watching me unravel. No way was I giving them that win. Not today. Sounds simple enough, I said, keeping my tone steady. Slap some junk on a computer, click a few times, and boom, someone's reputation's toast. I cocked my head, playing dumb. But if that stuff's so illegal, wouldn't you be screwing yourself by holding on to it? I mean, just having it's a crime already, right? I kept it light, like we were chatting about the weather. Victor's smirk grew wider. He was eating this up. "That's the difference between us," he said, his voice smooth, dripping with superiority. "What's a crime for a guy like you? For me, it's no big deal. Folks with clout, cash, and the right buddies don't play by the same rule book." He sighed like he was bored of explaining. "So here's a tip. Stick to your cute little blue-collar morals, and leave the high-stakes game to the pros who know the ropes. Catch my drift?" I couldn't believe the garbage coming out of his mouth. It was so over the top, it felt like something out of a cheesy movie script. But Victor wasn't faking it. He believed every word of his own hype. Then, just to rub it in, he added, "Oh, and don't even dream of pushing back against me or Evelyn." With that, he spun toward the door and waved for Evelyn to follow. She didn't miss a beat, grabbed her overnight bag and breezed past me without a sideways glance, like I was a ghost. I wasn't just mad, I was floored. But while I stood there, fuming, I silently tipped my hat to the crook who had jacked my place a year before I met Evelyn. That break-in scared me into setting up a full-on security system. Cameras that catch every move, mics that pick up every word, all piped straight to a cloud. I couldn't lose. Evelyn had no clue the system could run even when we were home, and you bet your ass I flipped it on. Victor thought he had me pinned, like I'd just cave, but I had a trick or two up my sleeve. Lucky for me, he'd only smashed my work phone, not my personal one. I didn't waste a second. I grabbed my real phone and punched in Nathan Carver's number. Nathan's not just my lawyer. His family's mine through and through. He married my big sister Beatrice a decade ago. Their happy days got cut short when she drowned on a trip to Guadalupe, and that tore us all up. Even after that gut punch, Nathan stuck around, part of the crew. A few years later, he met Clara and fell hard. They were married within a year, and Evelyn, my folks, and I all showed up for the big day. Nathan and Clara, they're more than buddies. They're like the brother and sister I lean on when things hit the fan. And right then, I needed someone solid. He picked up, and I sucked in a big breath before spilling it all. Nate, man, I'm in deep. I need you. I laid out Victor's threats, and the whole mess with Evelyn's weekend escape. Nathan didn't even flinch. He promised he and Clara would swing by my place in an hour, dinner in tow. Lock it down, he cautioned. Kill any extra chatter. Don't text or call anyone. Just hunker down until we roll up. While I waited, my mind kept looping through the chaos that had just gone down. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Evelyn had pawned off our marriage for Victor's money and swagger. All the years we'd built together, worthless to her now. I couldn't stop my mind from drifting back to how it all started. 5 years ago, I met Evelyn at a buddy's birthday bash. She was a total stranger then, just the sister of the birthday guy, an army pal who was off overseas. We clicked right away, like lightning in a bottle. A year later, we were saying, I do. Back then, I was clocking hours for Mr. Henderson, an old-school woodworker with a little shop I started part-time in college. I kept his books straight until the gig blew up out of nowhere. 3 huge contracts landed in his lap, way more than he could handle on his own. He asked if I'd jump in on the hands-on stuff, and I didn't hesitate. What began as grunt work turned into something bigger. I was hooked. My hustle caught his eye, and soon I was running my own small jobs. Turns out, I had a knack for this woodworking thing. I've got an accounting degree collecting dust, but the real thrill is shaping wood with my hands. That fire pushed me into an apprenticeship, and after busting my ass for years, I earned my craftsman stripes. I became Mr. Henderson's right-hand man. When he hung it up, my parents chipped in to help me buy his chunk of the business. It took me 2 years to own it outright, and now it's thriving. I even have 2 helpers on the payroll. My bank account's outpacing a lot of Evelyn's lawyer pals, but she never seemed to notice how far I climbed. Right then, the doorbell chimed. I swung it open, and there were Nathan and Clara loaded down with Chinese takeout bags and a 6-pack of brews. Jamie, you holding up okay? Clara asked, pulling me into a big, comforting hug. I can't wrap my head around Evelyn pulling this on you. It's not the gal I thought I knew. Her voice wavered like she wasn't sure she believed herself. Nathan clapped me into a solid, grounding bear hug. Don't sweat it, bro. We're going to sort this mess out. You and me over dinner. I spilled every humiliating detail of that afternoon's disaster. When we were done eating, I dragged out my laptop, fired up the surveillance clips, and hit play. The audio was so clear, it gave me chills. Man, I can't believe this crap I'm hearing. Nathan grumbled under his breath. Yeah, I shot back, keeping a deadpan. Talk about a great arrogant ass. Arrogant. Nathan snorted. Nah, this dude's a straight up. What is he, 40? I interrupted. The guy's got years under his belt. He should know better than to run his mouth like that. Instead, his ego's so bloated, he just gift-wrapped us some damning proof. I let out a long breath. That's all well and good, but can I even use it? I didn't exactly ask his permission to record. Nathan leaned back, all confidence. You're golden, man. This is your house, your turf. You got every right to capture whatever goes down here. No legal blowback. I pressed, needing that reassurance lockdown. Are you sure? He paused for a beat and let out a small sigh. Well, not quite cut and dry. You're on firm ground legally, but we got to play it smart. While Claire was driving us over, I poked around a bit. Turns out, Victor's not just some loaded jerk. He's a spawn of Reginald Langston, the guy who kicked off GBH. You knew that, right? I gave a nod. Name like that carries some heft. Here's what you might not have clocked, Nathan went on. Reginald wasn't some wizard. He didn't win because he was a genius. He had the hookups, judges, DA, law firm bigwigs, all his old college cronies. That web gave him a leg up every time. Victor's riding the same gravy train. The gravity of it sank into me like a lead weight. That's why he's such a threat, Nathan added. It ain't just the cash. He's got pull, the kind that can make a rock-solid case crumble in court. So, you're saying I'm toast no matter what I try? I asked, my frustration bubbling up. No, not toast, Nathan corrected, his tone steady as a rock. It's going to be a scrap, though. Bright side is, you've got me and my network in your corner. We need airtight proof, and I've got a game plan brewing. But didn't you just say the judges will back him? I pushed, my voice climbing a notch. They might, unless we drag this into criminal court, Nathan laid out. A cocky, spoiled rich kid strolls right into my house, my own little sanctuary, and announces he's taking my wife away for a weekend getaway. Just when I think it can't possibly get any worse. This jerk starts throwing around threats like he's the king of the damn universe. My gut screamed to punch that smug grin off his face, but I held back. See, true payback doesn't come with a loud bang. It's a slow burn, carefully planned, and hits exactly where it hurts. Plus, I ended up making a nice pile of cash from the divorce. So stick around. You'll want to hear how this all played out. It was a Thursday afternoon. I had just tossed my tools into the back of my truck after a long, draining day of work. For the past couple weeks, I'd been wrestling with an indecisive client who couldn't settle on what he wanted for a fancy custom staircase. The guy kept flip-flopping like a fish out of water. That back and forth freed up my Friday, a rare break I didn't see coming. So who am I? The name's Jamie Harrison, 35 years old. I'm a craftsman by trade, running a small carpentry gig that specializes in top-notch custom staircases for folks with deep pockets. Think big-shot mansion owners, swanky hotels, ritzy restaurants, and sleek corporate offices. These are the types who will drop $50,000 or more on a staircase just to flex their wealth. I'd been married to Evelyn Harper for 4 years. She's a sharp 28-year-old lawyer who specializes in commercial and intellectual property cases. That woman's got ambition pouring out of her ears and a laser focus on her career, which is why we've held off on having kids. She was dead set on making a name for herself at her big deal firm, Gimson, Brickman, and Goldman, before even thinking about diapers and strollers. Anyway, I rolled into the driveway around 4 p.m., and there's Evelyn's car just sitting there. That threw me for a loop. Thursdays are usually her late nights at the office, grinding away to get ahead for the next week. So, seeing her car already home didn't make sense. I was curious. So I slipped into the back door, my usual routine after a day of sawdust and sweat. The water pressure felt off, weaker than usual, and I started wondering if she was up in the shower. That didn't fit her usual routine, though. She's a morning or night shower kind of gal, not a mid-afternoon one. After swapping my work gear for some comfy clothes, I trudged upstairs to see what was going on. Sure enough, there she was, fresh out of the shower, sliding into some black fishnet stockings while a slick new black dress was laid out on the bed. Hey, hon, what's the deal here? Did I space on some plans? Are we hitting the town tonight? I tossed out, trying to sound chill, even though my brain was spinning. She let out a heavy sigh, like she was bracing herself, then hit me with, No, Jamie, you didn't miss anything. I'm heading out tonight. Solo. Won't be back till Sunday afternoon. I'm crashing with Victor Langston for the weekend. I just stood there frozen, like a deer in headlights. Hold up. What's that supposed to mean? Is this some kind of work thing? My mind was racing, trying to piece together whatever the hell she was telling me. Nope, she shot back, her voice cold in a way I'd never heard before. Not work-related. Victor snagged us a sweet spot. Catch you next week. This weekend's all about him. Her words hit me like a sucker punch to the stomach. You gotta be kidding me. I muttered, Evelyn, you're seriously telling me you're ditching me to shack up another guy for the weekend? What the hell is going on? She locked eyes with me, cold as steel, and said, You better start getting comfy with this, Jamie. It's how Victor wants things. I was dumbfounded, barely able to wrap my head around what she was laying out. Let me get this straight. You're expecting me to just sit here, twiddle my thumbs while you're off with him, and then act like it's no big deal come Monday. A smug little smirk crept across her lips. I didn't say this was a one-off, Jamie. Victor's dropped hints this might turn into a regular thing. Life will be smoother for you if you just roll with it. Fury hit me like a tidal wave, hot and fast. Evelyn, you better rethink this real quick. If you honestly think I'm going to let some pompous rich punk waltz into my life and act like I'm invisible, you're about to get a serious reality check. But she didn't care. She just kept primping like my outburst was nothing but white noise in the background. Pissed off and out of patience, I stomped downstairs, ripped open the fridge, and grabbed a cold beer to cool my jets. I needed a minute to think this through. Right as I popped the cap, I heard the deep purr of a fancy engine pulling up, a shiny black Mercedes. Victor Langston had rolled up to my doorstep. This wasn't my first tangle with that guy. We crossed paths a few years back at one of her firm's holiday parties. He's the kind of guy I can't stand, mid-40s, always decked out like he's sealing $1 billion deal, dripping with arrogance you could smell from a mile away. Ladies swooned over him, and he lapped it up like a thirsty dog. While most guys like me, he treated us like we didn't exist. Evelyn came bounding down the stairs, looking annoyed, and swung the door open before Victor could even knock. Sorry he kept you waiting, Victor, she purred, her tone soft and sweet. Nothing like the cold, icy reception she'd given me. Victor swaggering like he owned my damn house. Hey, sawdust boy, he said with a smirk. Word is, you're not thrilled about Evelyn hanging with me this weekend. That was it. My fuse blew. Look here, you stuck-up jackass. You got 5 seconds to get the hell out of my house before I call the cops. I snapped. He let out a slow, taunting laugh, then flicked a sly glance at Evelyn. She smirked right along with him. Go ahead. Call him, he said, leaning back casually. Let's see how that shakes out for you. Think they'll lift a finger? Guess again. Then his gaze zeroed in on my shirt pocket. Hang on, are you taping this? Before I could react, he lunged, yanked my phone out of my pocket, and peeked at the lock screen. With a lazy flick of his wrist, he tossed it onto the floor. The glass shattered on the tiles like a gunshot. His voice dropped low and menacing. Listen close, you worthless nobody. Evelyn's mine this weekend, whether you like it or not. Then he stepped closer, crowding me. She'll be with me whenever I damn well please, Victor said, his voice dripping with arrogance. And here's the deal. Your thoughts on it don't mean squat. Cross me, and you'll wish you hadn't. If I catch even a hint of you stirring the pot, trying to guilt-trip her, or heaven forbid, reaching out to my wife, it's going to get nasty for you. Then he flashed a slow, nasty grin. Ever think about what happens when shady files pop up on your computer? Or when whispers of money laundering start floating around? It takes just a couple of clicks to ruin someone's life. And trust me, Jamie, I've got your number. Every muscle in my body was locked tight, but I wouldn't give him the meltdown he was hoping for. I just shrugged, as cool as I could manage, letting him strut around like he'd won. It didn't matter yet. Payback's best when it's ice cold, and I wasn't about to blow it on some hot-headed swing. Going toe-to-toe with him right then would have been pointless. It would have just made me look like the chump he figured I was. And worse,